All right, so this one
Yeah, the first
right
one.
here.
Yep.
All right.
Okay. Rolling action.
Hi, how are you? Welcome. My name is Christopher, and welcome to my podcast, Solid Logic. I have my good friend here by the name of Tanita Kill. We call her Miss T. She is a grade cheerleader at Kip North, and she's been serving in that role for almost 2 years now. She is a fourth grade teacher, a phenomenal teacher at that. And this is my teacher, Bestie. Even though we're not in the same building anymore,
No.
we're very still connected to one another. And she is my guest for today, and I'm very honored to have her here with me. And this is a topic that we previously discussed with one another, and that we wanted to shed more light onto, and more so bring an awareness of. So, welcome, Miss T, to my podcast.
Hey, Chris.
Would you like to tell us more about yourself, or?
Basically, I've been teaching for about 29 years. I started in daycare. Um, I learned a lot from a black-owned daycare. A lot of things that I do establish, I pinpoint in my classroom with classroom management, organization, setup. Basically came from the daycare because we basically had to do all these details at the where I worked at, which was We Are the World. It's in Willow Grove. She built it from the ground up. I worked there for 20 years. Still great woman. She taught me a lot. She was an economic major. She showed me how to work the business, deal with the politics, everything. So it put me in a position of understanding when I got to KIP, because I feel like KIP is a lot of politics and a lot of different things that I have to deal with even to teach the kids. So it's been interesting. But I bring meet great people like my boy Chris.
Yes, very great people. And I would like to really emphasize on is that when I first came to Kip North to teach, she gave me some really great advice, which allowed me to connect with my students and which stood with me. And her advice was is that the children are bad. Yeah, trust me, they're gonna give you HE double hockey stick, but they want to learn and they want structure and they want to be here and they just really want someone dedicated to their education and their development. And I don't think that if I didn't have that advice, I wouldn't have won in with the mindset that I would have. I possibly probably would have quit a long time ago if I didn't get the advice from Ms. Kill. And it really propelled me to be more emphasized and focused on my students rather than, just, allowing them to be. With regardless of whatever it is that I experience inside of that classroom, I really connected with them, and I love those kids. So just a little piece of me and Mrs. T relationship and how that developed. So Miss T, the first topic on the agenda is the role of urban parents in education. We should discuss the critical roles of their children's education, especially in the urban settings. So my first question would be, how do you feel parents should play a pivotal part inside of their children's education? And how do you feel about parents who just basically neglect their children's education and the development?
Um, Basically, I would start with talking about how to participate. The basic knowledge of knowing what your kid's doing day to day in every class. So requesting that line of communication, which will be through different schools have different setups, such as the school we have has Class Dojo, Parent Square. My children's school, which is West Oak Lane, they have Class Dojo where you can email the teacher, and but the teacher's job will be to shoot out what homework we have to do, what's in detail, what's needed. We can shoot out explanations, PowerPoints, anything we need for you parent to kind of help direct the kid, because a lot of information we're getting back is a lot of parents don't know how to handle the work that they're doing at home,
Yeah.
especially in math
Oh
with this
yeah,
new
the new
math. So
math.
that is a big problem. So that's where you come up. We shoot out a YouTube video where you
Mhm.
can break it down and slowly introduce what we're doing, the exact lesson we're doing, so
Mhm.
you can see what is the how to begin and where it should finish at.
I
And
agree.
sometimes the kids lead them in and be like, "Oh, mom, yeah, I know it,"
Know what to do,
and it
right?
feels
Yeah.
great.
Mhm.
And that's another way you can help. The other thing is you have to be involved. You have to stay interested. Don't just show up for when they're bad. You have to be in the line of coming when there's if the homework is not coming. Well, say on the teacher, Miss T, what's going on?
Mhm.
You said
Mhm.
in the beginning of this, hold your teachers accountable
Accountable.
for what
Mhm.
they're saying.
Mhm.
Because if you're holding your teacher accountable, that's going to be like, oh, you're paying attention. Let me get my life together and stay on. Because that means the kid's losing something if I'm
Mhm.
not being accountable to what I said I was going to do for your child.
I agree.
So I think that's a huge part. The second part is the people that neglect their kids. I feel like a lot of times the kids didn't ask to be here.
Mm.
And at the end of the day, I know people want to live their lives, but it's a time to live your life, and it's a time to focus on this child's life you brought here. Because I think that's why a lot of children are falling behind, because you think it's all right to bring your kid to school 10, 11 o'clock in the afternoon
Mm.
instead of 9 o'clock when it start or 8
Mhm.
o'clock when it start.
Mhm.
You don't think it's important that the kid be there on time. You don't think it's important for the kid to follow the rules. You don't think it's important for the kid to use their words, but you want them to use their hands first. We
Mhm.
have to start
Mhm.
structuring the kids how you want them to function, because school is just temporary. They got to function in this world. You can't let them function in the world like that, being late for work. You don't function like that for being late for work. You'll lose your job.
Mhm.
You don't get the money that you're supposed to get if you late, especially if you're an hour-to-hour worker. So at the end of the day, let's hold our kids to the same quality
And
push
standards.
and standards
Mhm.
that we need to do. So at the end of the day, that's where I feel like parents got to put themselves in their kids' shoes and in their footsteps.
Mm.
You understand what I'm saying? You have to understand, if I want my kid to be better than me, because I believe all generations should be better than the next generation,
I agree.
and we have to do that. It can't be, oh no, I don't feel it. No, you don't feel like it. No, you have to get up. You
Mhm.
have to take your kid to school.
Mhm.
After that, go back and do whatever you do, but make sure you're responsible to get up and handle your business when you have to come pick them up, have to do their homework, deal if they had a behavior, anything. I just feel like a lot of the parents is just being lackadaisical, want to be a friend, want to be a financial person, but
Mm.
don't want to be an emotional structure person to their kid.
Mm.
And I think that's a big problem right now.
Mhm.
Finances is good. I'm glad you're working hard. I'm glad you're giving your child what you need, but your kid needs this and this
Mm.
before they need this.
Yes, all the time.
So
I agree, T. My thing is that parents, I feel like, lack the effort of holding themselves accountable,
mhm.
which allows for that to trickle down to the kid. And it's like, well, if I don't hold myself accountable, how could I hold my
Yeah.
kid accountable? You understand what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And that really plays an impact on how how we are engaging with our kids. I don't have any children,
Mhm.
but more so to say, like, in my classroom, I really hold my students accountable. Like,
Yeah.
got not getting no homework done. When that homework is due when you come in here. Like
Mhm.
different things like that. And I think a lot of parents have a great relationship with me is because I don't switch up. You understand
Yeah.
what I'm saying? The same way I'm in my classroom is the same way I am in front of them when I'm
Yes.
talking to them. You understand what I'm
Yes.
saying? I'm hard on them. I let them know,
Mhm.
or whatever the case may be like that there. Because I don't want to give up on our kids.
Yes.
Because somebody didn't give up on me.
Yes.
And if it wasn't for my grandmother and it wasn't for the other people, really getting inside of my ASS when needed to,
Mhm.
I wouldn't have made it this far. You
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying to you?
Yeah.
So we need parents to really emphasize on, their children's education, where they're going, an extensive learning program, learning this new math. It's a website that people can utilize. It's called Embark, BARC.com, and it's a guy on there by the name of Time or whatever his name is, and he'll teach you how to do the new math. You understand what I'm saying? Like that there. It's a lot of resources that we can utilize in order to really adapt with our
Yes.
kids and be able to, give them the chances that we didn't have
Mhm.
or whatever the case may be like that there. I feel like parents can really benefit from allowing their kids to more so have an idea about where they want to go and supporting them in that idea.
Exactly.
You know, instead of them, just being around the house or being on the tablet all day, or
Exactly.
these things that are really figureless and that's really not going to propel them forward.
Mhm.
Like we really, let's cut the time down. It should be
Mhm.
an hour on the iPad, maybe 30 minutes.
Mhm.
Other than that, reading a book.
Yes.
Putting something out there. Coming down to
Most
Independence
definitely.
Hall.
Yes.
Maybe taking a walk, learning about
Mhm.
nature, something to get them invested inside of learning.
Yes.
Or whatever. That comes from within and that comes from home first. You
Mhm.
can't rely on a teacher to do everything.
Everything.
We only have, but so much time with them, only by maybe about 25% of the day. We're really giving them our all, but the rest of the 75% is on the parent, is on the family, is on the community. And not saying that it's all on the parent as well, because I know some people from our community that really helped me too.
Mhm.
Those after school programs,
Yes.
those people on the block that I seen going to work.
Mhm.
Different things like that. Those ideologies and those images really propelled me forward to say that I see the drug dealer, I
Mhm.
see the person go to work, I see how like they live and I see how they live.
Yeah.
And it made me want to choose. You understand
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So those positive influences, even though we don't think that we play a part inside of children's lives because they're not ours, we do. You understand what
Yeah.
I'm saying like that there? Because they're looking up to us and they might be bad as ASS or
Mhm.
bad as hell, but we are reflectively looking at the future of what we want to see. So everybody should play a part, not just parents, but everybody should really play a part in these kids' lives because they're definitely looking up to us.
Yeah.
T?
I truly agree with that because like mine's was church, home, my mom. Then it was like I just had a wide range of people.
Mm-hmm.
So because I came from a divorced family, so it was just like, okay, I'm divorced, and I came from going into a blended family,
Mm-hmm.
and so many different things was happening to me at a younger age. So by 11 and 12, I was kind of steady because I was in my new blended family, and we had a new house, and it was a new world for me because I ain't never had all these aunts and uncles and grandmom
right.
and this. I'm like, whoa, it's a lot, but it was nice, and everybody was there every holiday, Thanksgiving. My house, it was just a gathering place, and I guess that's why I feel like I totally agree with you that the community needs to help, but sometimes I feel like people don't know where the resources can come from. There's so many free resources in
Yes, it
Philadelphia
is.
for
Yes, it
children.
is.
It's so many things that can get your kids jobs at the age of 15. All the city has a whole listing. If you pull it up, it's a listing and it breaks it down where your kids can work at the age of 15, 16. And everything. You go to the school district of Philadelphia. You can get their working papers. Matter of fact, my niece gives them out, so I know. Like you go straight to the school district. They do it every Saturday around 12 o'clock. So it's no problem for you to produce something, but you have to make an effort and not just choose that the corner is an option. And some kids only see that the corner is an option because that's what they see their uncles, cousins, or whoever going to every day and chilling.
And that's all you showed them.
You gotta
understand
give.
what I'm
Yes,
saying?
we do have to give. I agree with you. We have to give them another world. We have to show them art. We have to show them nature. We have to show them that it's other ways out of this. Like sometimes I do thank God for being an influencer because it's making kids millionaires because they're showing them they're influencing people to do something different, to challenge something different. If a 12-year-old can tell you how this game works and this, that, and the third, I think that's amazing. But sometimes I feel like at the end of the day, long as we understand you're an influencer, but you're still a kid, and let the child be a child for that. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think that's where we're trying to make kids grow up too fast, and we're losing kids being children. And then you want to know why they out there twerking? No, we have to put a limit on what's acceptable. And I think that's where the community come in too. So I totally agree with what you're saying.
Because, T, we grew up in the area, it's not what you do, it's how you do it.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? And we still live by that.
Yes.
Those true values of what you do is not what you do, it's how you do it.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying like that there?
Yeah.
So, T, I think we discussed that. What's that? The highlights. Highlights of some of the stories that you've seen in the urban community as far as your participation with some of the kids that you work with. I know that you said some of your kids went on to be NFL players
Yes.
and different things like that there.
So, working at the daycare, I seen a lot of highlights. It's weird. I watch kids that I had at 2 years old go on to high school, do great things. Like my first love, the one little boy I taught how to walk for the first time. He's now he works with his dad, which is one of the black promoters of Philadelphia in the entertainment industry. He is the one to get all the talent for the Dell every summer. So his
Okay.
name is Walt Reeder, and he has a production company. It's all black men, and his son works for him now. He just graduated from Temple University, Ryan
Nice.
Reeder, and it's just a huge thing. And he went in now. He's trying to get younger talent
Mm.
because his dad worked with Frankie Beverly. His
Mm-hmm.
dad worked with Tina Marie,
Agree.
all them,
Right. Mm-hmm. Eddie
everybody, the
Pendergrass,
greats.
different people.
Yes.
Right.
So
Mm-hmm.
now he's trying to say, Dad, let's try to get this generation. So he's working with that. Uh, my my Pitts, Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts now plays for the Atlanta Falcons.
Mm.
That little boy couldn't talk to save his life. He used to mumble, and hey, I used to be like, and we thought something was wrong with him. Nothing was wrong with that boy. He just needed something outlet. Football was it. Sports was it, and he has established to be a very wonderful man and doing great things in his community. And I'm so proud of him. Other young men doing things like working, driving trucks, doing things constructive. Some of them had their own families, taking care of their families. So it's cool to see people that you are close to or that you watched as kids grow up to be strong people in the community, doing that, handling their business, and they all remember you. They be like, I remember you were too. They say,
Right.
no, Miss T, I remember that. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like the coolest things. So I think that's very interesting. So with that situation, I'm very proud. Even at KIP, to watch some of the young men grow up and try to be better, try to show more respect, try to be what they weren't in fourth grade, but they want to be in seventh grade.
Mm-hmm.
To see the changes in them physically, just to see them smile, or to see they just being talking about their family, showing like, oh, Miss T, I'm ready to work now. Just to see where their interest is going, because at that time, only thing they wanted to do was play football.
Mm.
Now you can see like, oh, I kind of got to grow up a little bit. I'm about to be in high school soon, so to see that transition, I think is awesome too. So just to watch the kids change and grow, understand that the real world is coming, and to connect the school with the real world. And I think sometimes some schools block the real world out so that these kids think there is no consequences for certain things. There's no situation that if you do this, this won't happen to you. And I think we have to let them know that the real world exists.
Mm-hmm.
And we just protecting you right now while we're in this bubble because you're a child. But at the same time, certain things you can't do out there that we might protect you from. So that's something that we got to teach all the way around. I think that's where a lot of the family part of it is losing, because a lot of the family part is not teaching it at the same balance the school is. So if you're not getting at home and you see it's all right at home and you're going to, no, we have to be all on the same accord.
We do.
So,
I agree. I agree with that. We have to start having children being held responsible for their actions. If not, as you stated, they'll go out here and do the same things they've been doing. And where does that lead them? We have a large population of African American males in the prison system, and it's due to the fact of people not holding black males specifically responsible of the actions that they have at a younger age, and knowing that we should hold them accountable, but we're not, due to the fact that we might be in an urban community, or we might be a little bit afraid, or whatever the case may be like that there. But those things go a long way. You understand what I'm saying,
Yeah.
Tay? And we really need to hold students and parents accountable.
yeah.
And we can save a lot of people based upon them being knowledgeable about some of the things that they do, and being able to reflect on what they do and know the difference between right and wrong. Because when they get out here in the world, who's going to save them? You understand what I'm saying? As a black male, I got 1,000 odds against me to 1. You understand what I'm saying? Like that there?
Yeah.
I was just telling my mom something today. She was saying something about, the cops don't have a right to search. And I'm saying, as a black man, you don't have no rights.
No.
You understand what I'm saying? They're going to search
They
you
think
for
they can
any...
do whatever.
Anything
Yes.
they feel like they felt like
Yes.
they have to search you. I
It
don't
is
care if it's
whatever.
probable cause or not. You understand
Yes.
what I'm saying? But you have to be mindful that we're living in a world to where, as though we know that the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution, when they said we the people, we wasn't in it. You understand what I'm saying? So let's just be honest about the facts, and we have to start holding our kids accountable and making them more knowledgeable and aware of the things that's out here in the real world.
Mhm.
You know, as both as the community and as parents. You know, we have to, because that's gonna save them.
Mhm.
You know, get them invested inside of reading books, because the biggest secret are inside of books. Doctor, you know, Cress Wesley
Honey.
said it. Best, like, the best secrets are in a book. You know, and when we
A
read
book.
a book.
Learn how to use the library.
Okay.
A book.
Look, listen. even
Open
pick
a
up the
book.
Listen, those books at your house.
Yes.
Got your bed
Open
sitting up
them.
on. Open them
Yes.
books up. You understand what I'm saying?
Mhm.
You know, get to know yourself. You know, get to know your history.
Yes.
You know, like, get to know where you came from. Because I asked my kids the other day, who were black people before slavery?
Mhm.
You know, they couldn't tell me.
Then they don't know.
You know, they could not tell me. And as a black man, knowing that they aren't aware of their greatness and where
Mhm.
they come from, and listen, like, we have a lot of work to do.
Mhm.
We have a lot of work to do, and it starts at home first. We have to educate our children. We have to.
Yeah.
It's important. It's imperative.
Yeah.
So, too.
Yeah, because that's why I call my kids, my students, kings and queens. And they'll be like, Missy, why you always call us that? Because that's what y'all are. That's what y'all established from.
Mhm.
Your father is a king. Your mother was a queen. Where you came from is who you are.
Mhm.
Y'all are princes and princesses. Y'all are
sir.
king. Y'all are the highest of highest. And if you can look at yourself like that and carry yourself like that, so hold yourself to that standard in your work, in the way you speak, in the way you dress, in the way you walk. It's the same
Yep,
thought
see?
process. It's a whole thought process. And I said, how do a king? They say power, control. Oh, they have to lead. They help other people. That's like, listen to what you're saying. And if I'm calling you that, why can't you walk that? It's the same concept. So that's why I call my students kings and queens all the time.
We have to put some positive affirmation
Yeah.
inside of our students, awareness, and inside of their environment. If they don't have it at home, at least what we give them will trickle down, and they'll be able to utilize those things later
Yeah.
on. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Especially if it's something meaningful to them.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know how much that can keep them going. Just by having those little 3 words. You are.
are.
I am. You understand
Yes.
what I'm saying? I'm king. I'm queen. Like, just having those positive affirmations go such a long way.
To make me go put them on my wall when I get back to the school.
Mm-hmm.
I really am.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, that be
Yeah.
all that. Like, I am. What are you? And something
Right.
can
You understand
do,
what I'm saying to you?
Just to say
So,
to yourself every day, that's awesome.
Every day, so we have to get into that. We have to get into that. Exploring the concept of learning happens everywhere, not just in a classroom, and how parents can seize opportunities for their children to learn from their surroundings every day. How do you feel about that question, Miss Gill?
They can. It's so they can walk the street and it'll teach them. Basically, Philadelphia is the most historical place you can ever be in.
Listen,
If you come down
birthplace
Center
of America.
City, if you come in Center City alone, we have the Liberty Bell, the biggest thing ever to talk about. We have where the founding fathers gathered in the house downtown. Like, everything is here. You can talk about who this man is on top of the city hall. You can talk about different historical things, the tragedies we had, move, why it happened, who was the first black mayor, and what happened with that. Like Wilson Good, it's so much knowledge here that doesn't take money, doesn't take anything but coming downtown, walking your
around.
city, and introducing that knowledge to the kids. Because even my daughters came down here one time and was like, yo, Mom, Center City is awesome. I said, all right, let's go for a walk. And it's like, I showed them all these different things. It's like, this is all in our city? I said, yes. Like, you're in a historical place.
Listen.
And it's very important that these places are here. Like, if it wasn't for Philadelphia, a lot of things wouldn't go down. Wouldn't have happened. So, like,
There would be no America.
exactly. So at the end of the day, let's sit here and really talk about just introducing stuff. Like, we have parks that y'all can go to. You have like the Chinese festivals. You have different
the Lantern
things.
Festival,
The Lantern
yeah.
Festival. All these different cultures in Philadelphia. I think they have a Jamaican day. They have days where they have stuff for the Hispanic month is right
they just
now.
had it.
And
They just had
get
the parade.
Yes, and they doing
shut the street down, didn't they?
they do stuff everywhere. So nothing costs money all the time. You could take them to Penn's Landing and let them see and talk with about the boats, with how they're traveling all the packages and how this is a deep port to Baltimore to send stuff. It's important for produce to get back and forth to places. Philadelphia is an important area, but if we have to teach our kids if we have to teach ourselves, we have to teach them to respect their community. At the end of the day, if we teach them where they came from, what comes out of it is respect of community, respect of people, respect of my home, respect of my street, respect of property. It leads to and it leads to like, okay, oh, I can't do that. No, you can't rob me because look, no, we in this together, but we have to teach it. It has to be understood from home. It can't just come from school. And the problem is, and I'm learning that sometimes, and that's bad, but some of the parents don't have that education. Some of the parents don't have that introduction of life. So that's where the school steps in again, where you have to introduce, listen, this is where you can take your child to do this. But it got to be free because you got to introduce it, because sometimes we don't have that financial. But I always tell people, if all due respect, if you can kick out almost $400 for a kid to play football, you can kick out a couple of dollars for a kid just to go downtown and see something that costs $12, $13. Take them to the art museum. Take them over. It's tons. Yes.
Take them to Benjamin Franklin. What's that?
They have the Illusion Museum. I didn't know there were so many museums down here.
Let's do something different. If you want to be different, and if it hasn't been done yet, do it. Just because somebody else did it doesn't mean it cannot be done by you.
Change it. Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying to you?
Yeah.
We have to change that narrative that we all can just stay in this bottom of the barrel, crab in the barrel mentality and think that we're going to get somewhere based upon somebody else doing something significant or something like that there. If it's not build it. If it's not done, do it. You understand what I'm saying like that there? So let's educate ourselves. Let's give back to our kids to where as though they can have something to look forward to.
Gotcha.
And then by you saying that you come from a historical place, you have to know, in order for you to know where you're going, you have to know who you are and where you come from, and what you can bring to the table.
Yeah.
This is the birthplace of America. The White House used to be right down the street.
Yeah.
This used to be the Capitol at one time. You understand what I'm saying like that there? Let's inform our children. We can walk them around our own neighborhoods and tell them about different historical things that we might remember or different things that might have happened. It takes nothing. You understand what I'm saying? If we could put $150 Jordans, $140 Jordans, $200 Jordans, shirts, essential shirts, and all that other nonsense that don't mean anything on our children's bodies, then we can take nothing and educate ourselves and our kids.
Yes.
So that's my little piece about that.
Yes.
That's my little piece about that. Strategy to empower more so students and families inside of urban communities.
Just like I think I said, basically getting to know our culture, getting to know where we came from, getting to know Philadelphia, getting to know your culture. Where did your grandma come from? Was your mama, grandmama slave? What was your great grandmother's name? Let's track down this. Let's do a family tree in the house, y'all. Let's see where different concepts like that. It takes nothing to do but talk to family members. Go here, talk to the eldest one. Well, let me tell you about your aunt. Did you know such and such? So it just takes a little bit of conversation, a little bit of building knowledge, a little bit of relationship. I think our culture is the only culture sometimes is hard on each other. Like African Americans are rough, and I know we are so scared and so competitive instead of just being. If we can just say, yeah, I know you got your struggle, I got my struggle, but let's talk about this. How can we change this for this next generation? How can we? And I think that's where we have to get to a point in life instead of everybody trying to compete against each other. Because there's too much competition amongst our race.
That part.
And I can't say I don't know any other culture. I only can say African Americans. But we are too competitive. We are too, I got this, you got. It's not that deep, baby. If you got it, I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy for you. But we have to empower our kids with the right status of mind. Not a materialistic mind, but of a mind of love and culture. A mind of love of self. A mind of love of... Yes, you understand what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I think that's the biggest issue with all our kids. And I think that's why so many fights in school. There's so many... What'd you say? Like... Know who you are first. It ain't no reason to jump at me. Y'all
birth from the same place. Live in the same neighborhood.
Is that the truth about your
Your
mom?
mom?
No. So why are we mad? Like, we have to build our kids to know self first. We can't keep building our kids off of materialistic
Listen
things.
things.
They shouldn't sit and argue, you got an Android, I got an iPhone.
iPhone.
I tell my kids, all of y'all broke.
And neither one of y'all bored.
None of y'all got jobs. None of y'all, because I said if you are responsible, do you pay your rent? Do you put food in your mouth? Have you bought any of your clothes on your body? Can you do anything? Can you pay the gas, electric, your cell phone bill,
water
anything?
bill, listen.
They said no, Miss T. Then you're broke. So you can't bust on that person. They can't bust on you. It ain't no reason to be bullies because y'all all in the same
place.
ball. Broke.
That part. Trying to get to the next grade. Hello.
So y'all only job of work is to get the best grades that you can. If you gonna brag. I got an A on my test.
Listen.
This is where we got to put our kids back at. Not
And
make them so materialistic and focus on everything outside. If we can get back to that, then okay, they'll care to read for 20 minutes a night where they supposed to. They care to write down and create books on themselves. These kids' minds are so creative.
Listen.
Sit down and write it.
Listen.
Whatever you're thinking. I don't care what you're going to do. Some of these kids been through HE double hockey sticks more than me, and I'm almost 50. Write your story, baby. For real, Miss C, write it. I don't care what you feel. I'll correct it. Write it.
Write it, right.
This one little girl literally wrote about being expelled from school. Wrote it. 4th grade. It's possible, but we got to be there to hear them. We got to be there to listen. We got to listen and support them. I feel like they don't have that support, and the kids feel lost. And they want to be coddled and babied. And I said, first of all, I tell them, I don't baby black men. I can't. I won't baby any kid in my classroom because y'all almost in 5th grade. Y'all at a point where y'all got to stand on your own 2 feet. Y'all got to know who y'all are because this is a very important age, a very important time. If you're going to decide you hate school or you love school. If you hate it after you leave here, you're going to always hate it. You got to get involved in something and love it. My kids didn't love writing and reading until they got out of 4th grade. It's a major dynamic that you learn at that time. It's a major writing skill. It's a major of organization and essay writing. And that's where you're supposed to write your first major essay before you go into 5th grade. And that's where they start building structure. So at the end of the day, you're going to love it or hate it by 4th grade. And that's why I put in my kids, please read. Love it. If you thought it was so important that you can create a whole chat line with 50 different kids, but you can't read a book for 20 minutes, it's no problem.
That part. Understand what I'm saying?
Let's make it a priority. And I think that's where we're coming from. And it comes back. We have to put more of a importance of education on our kids and not materialistic. I think that's where we can be more supportive and helpful and empower our kids and empower our parents to understand the difference. Empower your kids to educate more than be materialistic. And at the end of the day, trust me, it will be a total difference.
Because you don't know, the world of reading open up this whole logic to our kids. You understand what I'm saying? Like, they can have this whole world that they're living in based upon what they're reading, based upon the words that's been getting put out there, based upon them learning new words. You understand what I'm saying? Like, me and my kids, we were reading over at KIP. We were reading, remember the fairy tale story that we had to read?
Which one?
About a Princess Renata and the frog. You understand?
Yes.
Remember that story? The kids were so invested inside of that little story. I didn't think they would like it. You understand what I'm saying? Like that there. I did not think the kids would like it, but they loved it. I want to be this person. I want to be that person. I want to read. I want to read. I want to read. Okay, and we put our voices on and we did, we did the thing.
Oh, yeah, we did the play. Yeah,
you
I remember.
What I'm saying,
yes.
And it was fun.
Yes.
They loved it. They hated when it was over. You understand? Because I made it engaging. I made it interesting. You understand what I'm saying?
And you introduce them to something different. Drama, arts. It's the arts.
Right.
The arts bring out so many different things. That's why I love school, because I was addicted to Fame. I love Fame. Fame was my first musical I ever seen. And I was so addicted that I said, Mom, I got to go to a school like that. I have to do this. So she found the school. I was in creative performing arts. I really had to sit there and audition. When I walked in, kids was dancing. It was really like Fame. I was hype. And it was like, At the time I was going, Boyz II Men was there, and they was in the middle of the hallway singing. And I was like, I met Wanye. He's like, yeah, yeah. He's like, I'm a junior. We just here to help people. I was like,
wow.
okay. So like, it was a cool experience. Like,
Mhm.
high school was the bomb for me, and it introduced me to the world. My best friend at the time was, her dad had ran WDAS. May he rest in peace. And her name was Sharma Anderson. And I won't ever forget, she introduced me to so much stuff. She took me to every play. You know, they used to have tickets. So every black play that came out, every concert that went out, whatever time, Powerhouse, the first Powerhouse, when they all came, like, we was always there. So it introduced me to so many things. So it was just like culture and different beliefs, sexualities, understanding, way people dressed, art. It was just a world opening. My girlfriend, she's the biggest opera singer out of Philadelphia. Her name is Karen Slack. She does amazing things about opera through Philadelphia and bringing out black operatic singers. And she does it. She does a podcast too. I gotta introduce you. So cool. But like, people are out here doing things, and because we were introduced to the arts, it's very important, and they're trying to take it away, but the arts open so much for kids too. So that's a big thing that we can do with kids too, and it can start anywhere. I mean, people teach free online, different things, anything, but we have to show these kids it's more than just materialistic things.
I agree, too. That takes me back to when I was in primary school. I had a music teacher by the name of Mr. White. I never forget him. And this, excuse me, I don't mean to say, this man could play the piano like nobody's business. He knew every song. I hit every note. He was at every every assembly, everything. Everybody knew Mr. White, or whatever the case may be, like that there. And I'll never forget him because he really made a lasting impact on me as far as music goes, and as far as me being invested in music. You understand what I'm saying? Outside of, my own family introducing me to different music, and my mom and my grandma, but he really invested me inside of classical music and different things like that. When I went to, Maritime Academy, I had another black male music teacher,
Awesome.
or whatever. He was from this service or whatever. Mr. Ward was his name. He introduced me to Mozart, or whatever. That's why I play Mozart to this day, or whatever the case may be, like that there. So, the arts are really imperative and important for children's growth. It is, because it opened up this whole new world to them that they didn't know that existed. I didn't know who the fuck Mozart was before I took Mr. Ward class. Mind you, I was cheating on a paper that I had to do about what's the face. I got copied off something because I didn't know what I was doing. I was playing in this class. You understand what I'm saying? So
He's major.
and then he had us watching Amadeus or whatever, and I was so invested inside of that movie or whatever. Mind you, it was like 3-4 hours long, but I was invested, and I was in about 6th or maybe 7th grade at this time or whatever the case may be, like that there. But I was learning something new, or whatever, and that really opened up my whole mind about a different phase of music, not having music with words, and different things like that. I'm listening to Rachmaninoff and Bach and, Beethoven and Mozart,
Where all our music basically coming from,
You understand what I'm saying? So, I thoroughly enjoy classical music based upon me being exposed to it, even in the 7th grade, and thank you, Mr. Ward and Mr. White, for both influencing me positively and giving me, something back to where as though I can take somewhere else, so that's just my thing. Supporting children's exploration of the world. How can parents foster an environment where children can explore the interests while still being guided to ensure they engage with the appropriate information and experiences?
Really, basically, bringing it all back again to us being involved. Knowing your child, knowing their behaviors, knowing their emotions, knowing their capability. I think a lot of parents are getting lost in not knowing their kid. You know them, you see them, but you don't know them. And I had to sit there and learn to sit there and take 2 hours out of the day to sit and talk to each individual kid. I have 3 kids, but I have to talk to them by themselves. They cannot all be in the same room together because they don't like to share space with me. Like, it's like, no, Mom, I need to talk to you. And so I had to learn.
That's Trinity.
Okay, this is, I I have to have this time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Taylor, she in high school. She's experiencing new thing. No, I need to talk to you because that's the one that won't talk. She'll shut down. But I have to know my kids. I have to know she won't tell me if she got in trouble, but she'll hold all that in if somebody bullied her. But I need to pull it out of her. What happened? Who talked? Somebody said something to you? How we have to know our kids. I don't care. You'll know your kid from kindergarten all the way up. Their personality start building when they are 2 years old. They start getting like this kind of personality you be amazed about because all their vocabulary is coming, all their what they're experiencing. That's when they're like a sponge. From that age, from birth to 5, they mind absorbs so much information. If you can push the arts and knowledge into your kid, if you can put foundational work, the coding early, your kid can read by 5. We used to do that at the daycare. Kids was adding and subtracting by 5. Kids was doing 3-letter words by 5. So it's capable of doing it. It's just introducing it. Empower your kid, knowing your kid, and then empower them to do better. But it has to be from the parent. It has to be who they know will buy me this and take care of me. If you don't push it and if you don't empower them, it can come from us, but it gotta come from that person that they need to hear it from. And when they don't hear it, I think a lot of kids shut down. A lot of kids lose it. And it's hard to come back from that. And we as teachers get that frustration. We that teachers get that shut down. Because as soon as we say, well, we're going to call your parent. Right. They're like,
right.
But when we call y'all don't say, what's up? What's going on? I know you did what they said, but this is what I need you to do. I need you to look towards this part. I need you to be better. Not, we can't because it's going to set up a whole war. We got to be better as parents. And the reason I say we, because I'm a teacher, but I'm a parent at the same time. We got to be better. We have to be better. We have to learn how to handle different because once they see us as an example handling situations different, they'll handle
about it differently.
So it's all about us. We empower our kids by what we do, what we put in them, knowing them, and knowing them to be better. And that's the only way we can truly empower our kids.
I agree with you, too. Our first examples of superheroes and people that we look up to are our parents.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Like that there, we, not as parents, but as adults, we have a lot of influence over our kids and what we do and what they see us do.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying, T? So you saying that is really, it takes me back. My grandmother, she was really, really not conservative, but she was conservative in a way. It's a lot of things that I've never seen her do. It's a lot of things I never heard her say. It's a lot of things, a lot of ways that I never seen her walk. You understand what I'm saying? Different things like that. And you know different things about their life. But all in all, I looked up to her. I'm saying to myself, that's how I'm supposed to be. I'm not supposed to do this. I'm not supposed to do that. You know, different things like that there. So it's not what you do. It's about how it's being done, how you doing it, you know, how you going about it, different things like that there. You know, so, you know, our kids look up to us. We have to be mindful that they are looking up to us, that they're our first influence, spending that time with them, you know, even if it's an hour, 30 minutes out of the day. You understand what I'm saying? Spend that little bit of time with them because your kid's trying to climb in my back pocket. And I ain't got no space. My butt ain't but so big. You understand what I'm saying?
At least 30 minutes. If you can get them 30 minutes of your personal, individual time. I'm sorry if you got 5 kids. But if you can give them that time, even, it's called a kid date. Every kid should have a kid date with their parent.
Okay.
Literally, I have to take, one of my daughters have to go out with me by themselves. I may take them to go get their nails and feet done. But this is her day. Then the other one might yell, you ain't. This not your day. Then when it's her day, what you want to do? Oh, let's go. And it's the same thing. My son's 20. It's the same concept. Son, what you want to do? He be like, oh, Mom, I don't want to do nothing. Can we just go get my hair? I'm going to go get my hair twisted or whatever. Oh, he like, and he loves getting his nails manicured. That's his thing. I said, okay.
Ain't
let's
nothing
go.
against that, fellas. You can get a manicure,
He love getting his
pedicure,
hand
and a
manicured.
manicure.
He
Ain't
won't-
nothing wrong with it.
He won't get his feet pedicured though. He's like,
Oh, I
Mom,
love
like,
getting
he's
my
like, Mom, people
pedicures.
can't touch my feet, but he loved getting like his face groomed. And
Yeah.
I was like, go ahead, babe. That's
Ain't
what
nothing wrong with a man trying to be
Stay
handsome.
groomed. I have no
Grooming
problem.
yourself. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Black
And-
men, okay?
Yes.
Black men, there's nothing wrong with that. You're not gay. Nothing's wrong with you.
Just take
You go
care.
down there,
He
get
likes
your
to
little
take care of
nails,
himself.
you know, with the face.
Exercise. He exercise every day. He eats certain way.
Yeah.
He's like, Mom, listen, this is me. I said, and I love you. You go ahead with your cute self.
Yeah.
You do what you gotta do.
Listen.
But it's personal time. You have to have a kids date with your kids. It might sound crazy. It might not, even if it's not 30 minutes, 5, 10, but it has to be time. We have to get the financials out thinking that's time. It's not time.
It's not.
If you give your child time, the difference in behavior, the emotions, the reactions, the conversation is totally different. We got to give our kids time. It's a lost thing right now because parents still trying to live their life, have fun, do them. But at the end of the day, like I said in the beginning, these kids did not ask to come here. We have to give them time.
We do, too. Yeah, we do. Invest in your kids.
Hello.
My Aunt Jetty, she used to say, how you going to keep making withdrawals and you ain't make no deposits? You understand what I'm saying? You got to deposit into your children.
And y'all
Deposit
want them
into
to do so much, but what have you given them? What have you said? This is what I'm depositing in you for you to give me this back. This is what I'm wanting from you to do. This is what I tell my kids. The only job you have is school. I'm asking you to give me at your job the best that you can, to be on time, to respect your boss, to follow the rules, and to give me the best that you can do. Not me, you. So if the best you can do was a C on this, okay, I take it. That was your best.
Right.
But then when we have a conversation, Mom, that wasn't my best because I could have studied it. Exactly. Now let's try to do it your way a little bit. Now it's a conversation. You're investing this time with them to see what their weaknesses was, to see why they're falling apart. But we have to stop making our TVs, our computers, our cell phones, tablets, all these things, watch and have a conversation and tell our kids what's right and wrong. And then y'all parents agreeing, no. What's your household saying? Not what an influencer is saying. What is your household saying? Let your kids have more respect out of what you're saying than an influencer. These kids respect more influencers than their household. And that shouldn't be it.
That's wrong, parents. That's wrong. Get your shit together. Excuse me. I'm just
Yeah,
being
we gotta bring it back. We gotta bring it back to the beginning. We gotta bring it back that home is this is what it is. This is what's gonna happen, and there's no other way. And if you're depositing that and they're understanding that, they're gonna bring that to school. They're gonna bring that to wherever else they go. They're gonna bring that where you're not around, and they're still showing that respect because they know this is what's expected of them because it was deposited already.
Into them. That
and
part.
an understanding, and now you're getting the result back. It's the same concept. Whatever you put in your child, you're going to put foolishness, you're going to get
Foolishness. Uh-huh.
If you're going to put in the cussing and this, that's what you're
You're
getting
going to
out.
get back.
I'm not saying that you're not going to be cussing kids out sometimes. Sometimes, yeah, I'll be cussing my kids out all the time. But I got to pull it back because I know they mouths is worse than mine because that's how they handle stuff. Oh, let me pull it back. That ain't how we can handle this. Let me talk about, how about we say, calm down. Listen, let's hold a conversation about this. So now they know how to handle something a little different instead of cussing somebody out. You know what I'm saying? Let's get to the basis of it.
Yeah.
So we have to kind of revamp how to raise kids now because the world is just teaching violence. Everything is a reality show and everybody want to fight each other and all about this, and that's how you make money fighting. That's why everybody got so many fight lines and fight things. And I said, this is ridiculous. If you're not getting paid millions of dollars to fight in a ring where it's a safety net and there's people got ambulances to take care of you afterwards, I'm good. It makes no sense.
It doesn't.